I've started playing a new game on Wednesday night at DnD. Same place as the Wednesday night game, but a different DM. Elliot, one of the regular players in the usual game, has taken to doing a bi-weekly game, and it's a lot better, I've got to say. Rob, the usual DM, was the only person I'd ever seen DM previously, so I didn't know any different. Now, having played at other places, I've realised that he's a little bit lax and lacks force. Elliot is a teacher. He leads the game like he leads a class. No, that's not helpful. You can't do that. We need to go here. Although we're free to do what we want, it's guided. So with that in mind, I've had to come up with a new character. This is Theyr. Theyr is a tabaxi rogue and an apothecary, and she makes trinkets and things, little gems and things. Theyr was abducted or fell through a portal to the Fey realm when she was very small, and then returned from whence she came back to a city called Leocor on a random realm, somewhat altered. She doesn't quite know what's happened to her or what happened in the Fey realm, but she turned from being just an ordinary cat. She was bitten by something in the Fey realm. Now has an aversion to the sunlight. She wraps herself in bandages and leathers and has this big hat on at all times, and she has a real craving every now and then for fresh blood, so she goes off and rips the head off something and starts sucking the blood out of them, and existed as a street urchin and became friends and helped out with the local street workers, night crawlers, that sort of thing. And that's how she became an apothecary. She just started making poultices and remedies and ointments and things to ease pains, wounds and afflictions that those sort of workers tend to acquire. And then there was a war, and the war drove out the poor, and they became a travelling party of refugees heading south, supposedly to quiet and peace and whatever beyond the great forest. Being chased by enemy soldiers through the forest at one point, they fall once again through a portal, key, door, whatever it is, and landed in another place. Thankfully this time it wasn't the Fey realm. This time it's an empty, vague land. It seems very unpopulated, or at least where they found themselves. And they find a bunch of slaves that have revolted against their masters and taken over the encampment that they were sent to. A military encampment, just mostly made of barracks. And that's the start of the game. That's where the game starts. And now Thea has become part of that. And so she's become the apothecary, which has helped. There are other characters, and of course I've made the other characters. This barbarian, he's Red Claw. I've only got one barbarian and he's red, so probably needs to be repainted. But he's Red Claw. He's been living there for a while. He's been lost, living in the caves. This is Ruach, a cleric dwarf, and he's a draftsman, and he was a slave in the encampment, part of the revolt, and he survived. All he wants to do is build, and so I made a set square. This is V. V is a warforged warlock, a robot man. He has a sort of arm that protrudes out and a spear and random spikes in his arms. So that's my characters. But I've managed to work out a way to tie this game with the game in Arcadia. This is Dusk. Dusk is a hobgoblin blood hunter, and Dusk has been playing in Arcadia. She played one game and been initiated into Keystone. Arcadia is a realm to itself. It has a portal which people can come and go in, but maybe there's more than one portal. Maybe those people are on another side of Arcadia, far, far away from anyone else. We don't know. Basically, the idea is that Thea and Dusk are one and the same person, and when they lose unnatural consciousness, i.e. they don't fall asleep, when they are exhausted and pass out or lose consciousness due to injuries, they switch into the other person. They mutate, they turn, their bones crack, their bodies shift, their fur changes, and they shift into the new persona. And it happened during the first game at Arcadia, fighting a warlock in a mansion. He fired and blew up a flight of stairs that Dusk was on, and she fell and got injured and lost consciousness. She woke up as Thea and she was confused, didn't know where she was, but being the practical self, Thea just sort of got up and tried to help the injured. She tried to help one injured NPC that had had its throat cut by Dusk. So somebody else that played at Arcadia did a similar thing, and they had an alternative personality. But somebody I saw on TikTok made a character that had 4 personalities, and I want to do that. At the moment, I have 3. I have Sister. Sister is a Harangun cleric, and she hasn't really got much of a backstory yet. And I need a 4th. The idea is that these manifestations, the Fae have played around with them to see what would happen if you could turn somebody from one thing to another and merged all of the 3 personalities and the 3 forms into one. Except it's not 3 forms, it's 4. There's a gap. There's a need for a 4th person. Originally, I was going with a barbarian, this barbarian, to be fair. But this barbarian is human, and I'm not sure. So, I'm trying to work out what I could use. I have a couple of options. I have this barbarian, which is more like a grounder from 100. But again, it's still human. And I feel like that Tabaxi, hobgoblin, Harangun, or cat, fox, rabbit, human, not quite the same. I'm not sure. I have that. I have the straight barbarian, I have the grounder barbarian, or I have a full-blown Fey demonette, which I painted a while back. What I need is a 4th character. I have many characters. I have more. I have a tiefling, which could work, but for argument's sake, it's a tiefling. The order is Dusk, Theyr, Blood, Sister. I still kind of like the idea that Blood has the ability to transform within herself. The original idea was she was going to be them. Do you remember them for a couple of weeks ago? A pair of barbarians, one an absolute giantess, and when she rages, she gets smaller and more condensed and more ferocious and becomes her sister. There's one person inside the other, and one consumed the other in order to save them. When she died, she took her essence, her consciousness and her soul and kept it, and was under the idea that she would one day make her real again. I'm thinking that maybe she goes there and becomes the 3rd sister, the 3 sister barbarian. Sounds like a pub. So many possibilities. I was going to go with a fairy barbarian. I could put wings on her and make her into a fairy barbarian. I think the 4th needs to be something like a fox or a weasel or I don't know what. A random video, just an excuse to show you me painting random figures. And that's me for now. Hope you like this, hope this was fun, and I'm going to go and work out what to do with these figures. If you like this, give it a thumbs up, comments down below, share this video with somebody if they're into painting and they're a damn sight better at painting than I am, because I'm not good, and follow along and see what we end up with. Bye. So to finish this video off, something's just arrived which might answer the problem. I'm just hand holding this so you can see, and amongst all of the current projects, and there is this. I think we've found our 4th. It's a fox. It's a kitsune. I think we've found blood. And I've just got a painter. That'll probably be a video to itself. Yay!